Welcome back to more ignorance in basketball. Now, people, that was a basketball game. That was the best game I've seen from this team in a while. And you can tell, like I said in the last game, this team plays to the level of competition. If they're playing against a bunch of milkmen and people with part time jobs, they don't give a shit. They're like, why do I even have to get out of bed to play against you damn civilians? But when it's a big time game and they're playing against a team that they think they may see in the playoffs, they show up and they show out. And they definitely did that today because the Suns weren't even hitting threes like that, but their defense was fucking increíble today. And that is still Spanish. Now, I'm really trying to teach you guys Spanish and make this bilingual, make this a bilingual channel, because that's just the kind of person I am. I'm a giver. Now, let's get into my notes because I took a lot of them because, like I said, I'm a professional. Now, the first thing I noticed, well, actually, before the game even started, I was really excited about this game because the Jazz had just lost their last game to the Dallas Mavericks. So I knew like we were going to get the best Jazz team we could possibly get today. And I know they didn't shoot well. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But defensively, they were still really good. But first thing I noticed that I liked a lot was Chris Paul's aggressiveness. I think we all notice a lot of the times. I mean, we could see him not shoot at all in the first half, and it wouldn't even be that weird. But I think he had like 7 points or so in the first quarter. Like he was aggressive from the get go, and they needed it today because Devin Booker started off 1 for 6. Chris Paul started off strong, so I think that kind of balanced out. They both had really good games today. Devin Booker finished really strong. But like I said, Devin Booker did not have a great, I don't know, like first 5 minutes, 6 minutes or so of the game. He had like 6 turnovers. It was ugly. But like I said, he finished out strong and he balled the fuck out because he's that guy. So, yeah, that was really good to see. I mean, I want him to start every game like that, but it's just against his nature, I guess, his point guard nature. You know, he likes to get everybody else involved and kind of do his thing in the fourth quarter. I think if he had waited in this game, they would have lost, so I'm glad he didn't. Another thing I wanted to look out for is I knew that the Jazz were one of the top, I think they're actually the top 3 point shooting team in the league. I think they're like number 1 or 2 in efficiency and 1 in makes. So I wanted to see how well the Suns could really guard the 3 point line. And they did a great job. I mean, the Jazz only ended up shooting 25% from 3, which is straight ass. Another thing, the Suns had energy today. They just had energy. Now, a thing I've been worried about this team is how small they are. I think like when we're looking at the playoffs, they got to be like one of the, if not the smallest team that's going to be in the playoffs this year. But the way they can counteract that is with their fucking energy. They had a lot of energy. They were really scrappy, knocking a lot of balls out of Gobert's hands. There were only like 3 solid offensive rebounds that I can think of that he got, which is really good. And they out rebounded the shit out of the Jazz today, 61-45. Like, fuck out of here, you guys suck. And I'm saying, if there's any Jazz fans that are watching this, first off, I know you're hurting, and I don't feel bad for you. Also, turn this shit off because you're not a part of Death Valley and go watch some Utah Jazz shit. I know there's people out there that support your whack ass team. Now, first off, change your name before you even talk to me. There is no Jazz in Utah. It's never been played. I looked it up. It's factual. Name yourself the Utah fucking Snowflakes or something. I don't know. Something more fitting. Oh, it's funny how much shit I talk when I am not playing. Okay, what else was I looking forward to? Another great thing I noticed, I mean, keeping the Jazz to 40 points and a half is muy bien, and that's still Spanish. Now, I heard that one of the announcers say that the Jazz have had 2 of their worst halves, like historically bad, against the Suns. Like, their only 2 really bad halves were both against the Suns. Now, call me crazy, but I'm noticing a pattern here. I think the Suns match up really, really well with the Jazz. Because I just think Devin Booker is a better version of Donovan Mitchell, and I think Chris Paul is just a better version of Mike Conley. and those are your two best players. I mean, I guess Gobert, but it's not like we have to worry about Gobert going off offensively. I mean, what's he going to have? Most like 20 points if he goes crazy. I'm not worried about that. But I am worried about Donovan Mitchell going off for damn 50. But you need to be worried about Devin Booker going off for damn 70. Now, while I bring this up, I might as well just go over this stupid ass list that came out. What was it, yesterday? Now, to this list, obviously it's disrespectful. You're not even going to put Devin Booker in the top 5. I mean, how many people on this list have dropped 70 points in a game? Oh yeah, fucking 0. How many people on this list are second in the West right now? I actually was on ESPN and I saw a guy's list where he had Luka 1, Zion 2, Booker 3, I think Tatum 4, and Mitchell 5. That's kind of what I agree with. Like, I can't even really go off too hard because I kind of get what they're saying. Like, the LaMelo thing, it's wrong and it's disrespectful, but I get it just because LaMelo is so young and it seems like he has not reached his peak yet. You can argue Booker has reached his peak. I don't think he has, but what I realize is none of these people know what the fuck they're talking about. They've probably watched like 6 Suns games this year, if that. They're like half-ass watching. You can't watch all these teams. But with that being said, the fact that they put fucking De'Aaron Fox is extremely disrespectful. Like, the LaMelo thing is just wrong as hell, but I get it, kind of. You know, Zion and Luka, you're always going to get that. Donovan, okay. Tatum, okay. But fucking De'Aaron Fox, that's just so off, it's fucking crazy. Extremely disrespectful and inaccurate, and this list is dumb as hell. I really think they make this shit stupid on purpose just so they can give Stephen A. Smith and fucking Albino Monkey Man something to talk about the next day. I really do, because they know this shit is ridiculous. They know it's ridiculous. And you got me. I don't give a shit, you got me. It's fun to talk shit about how incompetent you are. But let's get back to this list because, like I said, I took a lot of notes. Yeah, today was a playoff game. Now, I know the Suns have not made the playoffs in, 10 years, 11 years? Excluding the bubble, today was Devin Booker's first playoff game. I could just see it. You could see the intensity. You could see that he fucking wanted it. And this dude was a killer out there. I gotta give this man his credit. Now, only complaint I have, and it's not even really his fault, but they need to stop closing out games with Devin Booker ISOs. I've watched every fucking dribble of Suns basketball. I don't have any memory of him hitting any of those shots this year. Not one. I don't remember them ever being tied or down by 1 or down by 2, and he just has it at the top of the key and just makes a play happen. I feel like that has a 90% fail rate. I feel like it's 100, but I'll be generous and just say 90. Now, every time they run a play for him, that shit goes up by a lot. Like that shot against the Mavs. They ran a play. Stop ISOing. It doesn't fucking work. It works with like 3 players in the league, and none of them are on the Suns. This team needs to play as a team. That is its only hope. It's not the most talented team in the league. I'm sorry, but I gotta be honest. I think we can all agree with that. A lot of teams have more talent. If you just like take accumulated talent and add it up, the Suns probably aren't even in the top 4. Maybe not even in the top 5 as far as talent. But they work so well because they run their plays really well. They execute. And they play as a team. Now, when you stop doing that and you just do ISOs, you're just like everybody else. Just a less talented version. So that shit needs to stop. Yeah, okay. Another complaint, the Jazz had like a 40-point quarter in the third, almost 38 points, which is way too much. But I can't even really be mad at the Suns because they kept them to 40 points in the first half, which there's going to be some sort of, balance to that. That always happens. The team goes 0 for 10 in one quarter, they go 10-0 in the next. It's just these things always just kind of balance themselves out. And if it was the fucking Bulls or something, okay, but we know how talented and how well oiled of a machine this Jazz team is this year, and that is a backhanded compliment because you took the loss today. So it's still fuck you energy. Just know that, Jazz fans. If you're watching this, which if you are, why are you still watching this? I'm pretty sure I already told you to turn it off. And last shout out before we get into how the team played as a whole, Devin Booker's defense on Donovan Mitchell today was fucking excellent. I was very impressed with Booker today. Minus the rough start, he was really good. He showed up when he needed to. He hit a lot of big shots. He was ultra aggressive from the start. You can tell that this fucking kid is playoff ready. He's so playoff ready. He just has it. He just has that. He has that Kobe in him, you know? He has that killer instinct in him. I noticed that like his fucking rookie year. You could just tell. Okay, but let's get into the team stuff now. Like I said, the defense was phenomenal. They kept the Jazz 40 to 45% from the field, 25% from three, which is fucking garbage. They only went to the line 15 times. The Suns actually went to the line more than the Jazz, and the Suns are terrible at getting to the line. But because they were so scrappy and feisty today, they were actually able to do that. Look at that. See how that works? And they forced 13 turnovers. You know, everything else was pretty standard. The Suns shot 45% from the field, the same as the Jazz, 32% from three, 80% from free throw, and out-rebounded the Jazz 61 to 45. 16 offensive rebounds to the Jazz's 7, which for how small the Suns are, which shows a lot, shows they had heart today. They were really scrappy for those rebounds. But they did get outscored in the paint by 20, which, you know, it's kind of a lot. Now let's get into individual performance because a lot of people had really good games. Now Crowder didn't have a great offensive game. He missed a lot of threes today. But he finished with 6 points, 2 assists, and 12 rebounds. And he had good defense too. And I think he may have had a block too. Now, that's the type of shit I like to see from Crowder. Even though offensively he wasn't great, he couldn't buy a fucking basket, he finished with 12 rebounds. This guy is 6'6". That's the type of shit I want to see, and that's the type of stuff that I think can turn a regular team to a championship team when people find other ways to help the team win besides shit that makes them look cool. Now, Bridges is, I think, the only player on this team that just had an objectively bad game. He was bad. Like, he got into foul trouble with Mitchell, which we never see. Had 0 points, 0 assists, 3 boards. Like I said, just foul trouble, just like weird hacky shit. And honestly, with like a good 3, maybe even 4 out of those 5 fouls, I was really looking and I saw no foul. I was like, what the fuck is the call? Am I surprised? Of course not. We all know the refs hate this fucking team. I don't know why, but they definitely do. But, I mean, how many times have I said Bridges hasn't played well this season? Like 4 all season? I'm not worried about him at all. Ayton showed the fuck up. Now, I asked you guys if you thought DeAndre Ayton was playoff ready. I think only one person responded and they said no. I disagree. I mean, he had a really good game today, and like I said, this was basically a playoff game. He finished with 18 points, 1 assist, and 12 boards. He was really efficient. I think he had like 2 or 3 blocks too. But he doesn't even have to average this. If he had, let's say it was a second round, right? And he averaged, I don't know, like 12 and 12. And he played good defense, didn't get into foul trouble, I would take that all day from him. He doesn't have to score a lot to be effective on this team. He just has to play good defense and stay out of foul trouble, really, and rebound. That's all I'm looking for from him. So shout out to him. I think he did really good today, matching up against one of the best centers in the league. Devin Booker went off, 35 points, 3 assists, 4 boards, played 44 minutes, which is a lot. That's the only thing I don't like. If I wasn't so crazy, I would almost rather them lose this game and not play overtime than win in overtime, just because it's a back-to-back tomorrow, and I know they're going to go hard against the Clippers too. And because every other team is fucking injured and the Suns aren't, I want that to stay that way. So The less minutes we can get on old ass Chris Paul's knees, the better. Because he played 43 minutes today, which is a lot. And another thing, I think these are the types of rotations we're gonna see in the playoffs. It's like he didn't go full bench today. Cameron Payne only played 10 minutes. Carter only 10 minutes. Craig only 12. Like, this is the type of stuff I think we're gonna see. Maybe switch like Cameron Johnson and Bridges minutes, because I don't think Bridges is gonna get into foul trouble a lot, obviously. But I mean, what a fucking luxury for this team when Bridges goes into foul trouble. For most teams, that would just mean, oh, okay, we're going to lose. But the fact that you can just slide in Cameron Johnson in that same spot is muy bien. Now, yeah, Booker, he had a rough start, but he finished strong. Chris Paul, 29 points, 9 assists, 4 boards in 43 minutes. He was great. Aggressive from the get-go, had a lot of clutch shots, didn't have a lot of turnovers, no foul trouble, hit the clutch free throws. He was great today. Cameron Johnson's really solid, 11 points, 2 assists, 8 boards, 37 minutes. He had a block. He was great. I got no complaints from Cameron Johnson. The only thing I will say is when he is driving, he is a better player. Torrey Craig only played 12 minutes, but had 7 points. He had 2 really big threes, I remember. He had 5 boards. Now, a thing I have noticed is he's huge when Ayton is on the bench. Because, Sarge is in, obviously. And Craig is so athletic, he's really able to help with the rebounds. Because, like I said, Sarge has the fucking vertical of my 80-year-old grandmother. They are the same. Athletically, they are the same. My grandma might even be better. I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, Torrey Craig has been huge. Speaking of Sarge, didn't have a huge offensive game today. Only had 6 points, 1 assist, but he had 8 boards. He only played 11 minutes just because he is so undersized. But his help defense was really good on Donovan Mitchell. His help defense was really good today. I was pleasantly surprised. And Cameron Payne, 5 points, 3 boards in 10 minutes. Now, I know he only played 10 minutes today, but I really liked how Cameron Payne showed up today because he was ultra aggressive. He wasn't deferring to Booker. He took that 3 that was huge. He drove in a couple times. He was really good. Like, that's what I want to see from him. And then Javon Carter, 9 minutes. He had 1 assist and 2 boards, no points. Nothing crazy. Again, I want to see some more minutes. I don't know why the fuck this man is being punished as the damn 15th member on the bench. But hey, man, I'm not the coach. Now, I think I've talked about everything. This was a great game. I'm really glad they pulled it out and got the win. I was really pissed when fucking Mitchell hit that 3. It made my stomach hurt. But you know what? Just gave this team another chance at an overtime game, and they pulled it out. They're 2-2 in overtimes now, and I think the other ones were those Nuggets games where Booker got injured, and I think Cameron Johnson got injured on one of them too. So I don't even fucking count those games, to be honest. So in my eyes, the Suns are 2-0. In overtime. And like I will continue to say, the more late game execution I see, or at least good late game execution I see, the better I feel about ring season. And this was just another example of that. Now, the last thing they got to work on is just not blowing that lead in the third quarter. Third quarter is extremely important. And if they can figure out how to just fuck a team up in the third instead of having to let it get close and then kind of skate, like just barely winning in the fourth, then this team will be unstoppable. But I think that is enough of my voice for tonight. Really excited about this Clipper game. Those of you who've been watching the channel for a while know I am not a fan of the Clippers, Paul George, or his fucking little boy braids. I don't like it. His braids still look weird. It looks like a weird little prince's crown. And I'm just not a fan of the bitch energy, but it is what it is. I think it's kind of fucked up that the NBA gave this Like, how are you going to give them the Jazz and then they got to get on a plane, go to LA, and then play tomorrow? Kind of fucked up, but hey, it is what it is. We all know it's a us against them mentality here, and that's why we are Death Valley, and that is why we are the #1 cult on YouTube. And you can look that up. It's just facts. These are just numbers. But I think that's enough rambling for today. Obviously, I'll be making a video about the game tomorrow against the weak-ass Clippers. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.